From the team that brought you GoldenEye comes Dark, Perfect Dark, a slick sci-fi first-person shooter cut from the same cloth, but offering a ton of graphical and gameplay enhancements to leave even the most timid players shaken but not stirred. The hero of the hour, or should that be heroine, is the lovely Joanna Dark, who looks like she has stepped off the catwalk of Vogue, but is the best agent in her field, and possesses a range of skills that she has acquired over a very long career, skills that make her a nightmare for anybody who dares cross her path. This is despite her looking suspiciously like my auntie's Avon lady Maxine. Miss Dark works for the Carrington Institute, who specialises in the usual stuff like stealth, infiltration, anti-terrorism and alien intelligence. You know, the kinds of things you learn on a typical first shift at Tesco's. The Institute is up against bitter rivals Datadine, who have a vested interest in acquiring and using high-tech alien weaponry and are helping an evil race of extraterrestrials, the Skeedar, to start a war with the Mayans, who are your standard alien types.
Just try it, you Scandinavian freak!
Anyone thinking that this is James Bond in a wig, suspenders and a bra will be pleasantly surprised. Although the gameplay maintains the same basic game engine, Joanna moves much quicker and smoother than Mr. Bond, has more weapons which all have secondary functions, and uses futuristic gadgets which actually help the player be a lot more immersed in the game. Levels are huge, brighter, with in-game lighting effects, colourful, and a range of different locations which look and feel futuristic and cool, and mission objectives that get more complex on the higher difficulties. Enemies too have been given an overhaul and won't just stand there and take damage. Some will even run to get back up, hide and wait for you, or just come up and slap Joanna Peggy Mitchell style. Plus the guards are all voiced now and will grunt and groan in pain and even offer a few choice words to Miss Dark upon her death. So you'll be doing everything from infiltrating a massive building in the dead of night to spying on a secret meeting, and you even get to rescue the president too.
Who are you, young lady?
Mr. President, you're in danger. Trent is trying to kidnap you.
Security!
Each level has a cutscene which basically tells you what you need to do, but at the same time pushes the story further, making you hungry to figure out what's going to happen next. So it's like a touch of Neighbours crossed with the X-Files. Where's Helen Daniels and Bouncer?
Right. The diving operation has been disrupted on the surface. Time for a swim.
I hope the government don't want to use this ship anytime soon.
Did you think we were a little heavy-handed?
No.
Yes, indeed, those good folks at Rareware have ensured that this game features actual speech, not just in the cutscenes, but also in the game's missions too. Now, as I alluded to earlier, each weapon that Joe picks up, and there are a lot of them, have secondary functions. For example, find the Dragon automatic gun, and it can be used as a standard bullet sprayer or an explosive device with just a touch of a button. Or pick up Foster's experimental weapon, and this also has a cloaking device making Joanna invisible and able to wander around without being seen for a limited period of time. These added functions really help to make PD a lot more varied in how you decide to tackle missions and are a fun inclusion, which I also feel helps balance the game out a lot more. So whilst big blokes with guns may have serious weaponry, just like in a shot drinking contest, Joanna can at least hold her own, and she even has time for a nice chicken madras after.
Good to see you, Joanna. Take this. You should find it useful.
Perfect Dark's music is seriously some of the best N64 tunage I've ever heard. I mean, this is rare, so it goes without saying. There's everything from fast-paced action themes to get your adrenaline running, stealth music and calm, tranquil themes, which really helps to build up a feeling of suspense as Joe creeps around certain stages. Composers David Kleinek, Graham Norgate and Grant Kirkhope combine their talents, and we get a lot of eclectic music here, which really fits the futuristic Blade Runner inspired nature of the game. You all know these themes will get stuck in your head long after you have finished a lengthy play session.
Ah, a star agent.
Hey.
I'm sure I don't need to tell you what to shoot at.
I haven't even mentioned that right from the off you can walk around the Carrington Institute and interact with various members of staff, take part in training simulations to not only get Joe better acquainted with weapons and gadgets and unlock cool new extras, and she can also organise the company's five-a-side footy tournament at the same time. I wouldn't be doing this game any favours if I didn't mention the amazing multiplayer mode. Anyone familiar with GoldenEye will literally burst at the seams when they see the range of options and possibilities that Rare have packed into the tiny N64 card. As before, you can invite your pals over and have a brutal 4-player deathmatch, which is a lot faster this time round. Or if you're Billy No Mates, and you can use the in-game bots to fight against. If, like me, you're wondering how Rare pulled off this impressive feat, well, it's all thanks to the Nintendo's expansion pack, which is a necessity to access all single player and multiplayer options. Without it, you might as well just go to the pub and sink a few, as although you will be able to access some multiplayer features, you just won't have the full experience. It's a bit like trying to fit 24 drunken big blokes on a stag night into a Robin Reliant. Some will have to be left at home unless you have a minibus. Still, as much as a godsend as the RAM pack is, the game does struggle and strain whenever there are multiple enemies on the screen. Whilst it's by no means a game breaker, it can halt the gameplay at the most inconvenient times, especially when trying to take down all those data-line thugs. Still, you have to remember that towards the end of the N64's life, developers would work really hard to try and push the system to the limits. So despite all the options, you will get some problems with the frame rate dropping, but it's nowhere near as bad as GoldenEye, you will be pleased to know. I am aware of the 2010 remastered Perfect Dark for the Xbox 360. From what I've seen, it looks and plays a lot better and has no dips in frame rate and runs pretty solidly. However, I am a massive fan of developers who push a limited system to its full capacity. So if, like me, you're a pretty hip guy, can pull the birds and sink the points with lads, but there's still something missing, then grab yourself a copy of Perfect Dark, close your curtains and tell your employer that you're not going into work today, as you have to save the Carrington Institute from Data 9 thugs and rescue hostages and aliens. Although it might make for some interesting appraisal meetings with your boss, who will promptly fire you and ask you to seek employment elsewhere. So step into the boots of Joanna Dark and prepare to be blown away by the massive world of Perfect Dark. It is probably for me the best first person experience on the console, and if you pardon the pun, it's perfect. Thanks very much for checking out the review, and I'll see you next time for some more gaming pap.
Going somewhere? Something I can do for you, old woman?
Return our sapient immediately. You don't know what you're doing.
Yes, I do. I'm leaving.
One more chance. Give it back. And you could come and work for me.
Sorry, gotta shoot.